Okay, I'm going to hand over to our next speaker, who is beaming in all the way from Australia, and it's going to be Simone Owens, who works as Executive Manager for Individual Giving at the PA Research Foundation in Australia. Very exciting. She's worked for lots of different organisations, but the bit of my bio I love the most is that she is passionate about donors and likes nothing more than chatting to them either over the phone or face to face about the difference their support is making. Preach! So I'm going to kind of hand over to Simone, and we're going to try and show the video that she recorded for us, but if it doesn't work, we'll chuck everybody over to YouTube again, but let's see, fingers crossed.
In September 2019, before anyone had heard of COVID-19, my husband and my 7-year-old son took a holiday to the South Island of New Zealand. Now, for anyone who has never been to New Zealand before, people heading to New Zealand at that time of year are generally looking for a skiing adventure, but not my family. We went in search of pink dolphins, seals, and most importantly, penguins. You see, New Zealand is home to the smallest breed of penguin in the world, the blue penguin. Blue penguins can be found along the coastline of New Zealand and the southern coastlines of Australia. They are small and over the years have had their populations decimated by introduced predators like cats, dogs, and foxes. In the town of Oamaru in New Zealand, they have created a safe zone for the penguin. They've built fencing to keep the predators out and keep the penguins safe. The amazing work they're doing has meant that the population there is now growing. We had such a fantastic holiday learning about penguins, watching them come in off the ocean at sunset, and understanding the fantastic work the Oamaru penguin colony were doing to save these amazing creatures. We liked their Facebook page and their Instagram page when we left so we could keep interacting with them, and we vowed one day to return and see our newfound friends again. Then 2020 hit. And while we had no plans to go back to New Zealand this year, we did have other holidays planned, and everything, as you know, got put on hold. Like the rest of the world, Australia went into lockdown in March. The schools closed and our lives became very insular. We talked a lot about our holiday and started to engage more with the Facebook page as a way of us, I guess, seeing the outside world again. One day we saw a post saying we could adopt a penguin, and so I immediately sent off an email to find out what was involved. And this brings me to my I wish I'd thought of that for today. And I'll be honest, this isn't anything shiny and new. This is a reminder to me, a long-term seasoned fundraiser, that genuine personalised communication with a donor is the key to the best supporter experience. So let me walk you through what I did experience. I emailed a person, Georgia, at the Oamaru Penguin Colony, and she emailed me back the very same day with an email directly addressing any of my questions. It was not a form email or part of a mass communication done through MailChimp that's, sent whenever they hear from someone new. And it wasn't signed by the CEO, who obviously hadn't written the letter. It was written by Georgia in response to my email. She asked me what prompted me to look into adopting a penguin. So I told her about our holiday that previous September, and I sent her some photos of us there. She wrote back warmly, commenting on the photos, showing that she'd obviously read my email. She let me know that we had the opportunity to name our penguin, which my son has decided to name Flippy, and told me that she was posting my welcome pack that day. But she was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to arrive quickly enough. So she popped out into the colony and to his nest and taken a photo of our new penguin that very day and attached it to the email. And then we waited. Through no fault of the Oamaru Penguin Colony, Both the New Zealand and Australian postal services decided that good things do come to those who wait, and it did take nearly 2 months for our package to arrive. But when it arrived, it was so worth the wait. Enclosed was a personalised letter addressed to my son. This included the name of our new penguin that we'd only told her on that day, a certificate of adoption, including the penguin's name as well. And remember, she did all of this on the day that I emailed her. There was a photo in a cardboard frame of Flippy, which has pride of place in our house now. There was a fact sheet all about the blue penguins. And from that, I learned that Happy Feet is wrong and penguins do not mate for life. Most are quite promiscuous. It also had a fact sheet about our penguin Flippy, who is a 4-year-old male, and it told us where he was nesting in the colony and who his partner number was, and I'll tell you a little bit more on that later. There was a photo showing where his nesting box was in the colony, and a thank you booklet containing lots of facts about penguins and that particular colony. And there was also a stuffed penguin, which obviously my son just adores and thinks is fantastic. We pored over this pack, fascinated to learn that Flippy and his current partner had successfully fledged 1 chick in the previous season, and at the time they were sitting on 2 eggs waiting for them to hatch. And I need to point out that this pack was not a glossy produced brochure. Everything was A4. Everything was printed on normal printer paper, and it felt very much like she printed it all out, put it together for us on that very day. In the excitement, I decided to introduce our new family member to the world like any new mother would. I posted it to Facebook. Shortly after, I got a text from a good friend who looked over the photos on Facebook and wanted to know if we were adopting Flippy's partner too. You'll remember we just knew the partner number, nothing else. And while the temptation was there, I said to her, no, I think 1 penguin is enough for us for now. And to my surprise, she said, would you mind if I adopted her? My fantastic experience and excitement has meant that not 1, but 2 penguins are now adopted in New Zealand by Australian families. Normally, this is where we'd expect the experience to end. Maybe we'd get an email here and there as part of a wider communications program, but that wasn't the case with Oamaru. They regularly post on their Facebook page, and I've asked on a number of occasions how Flippy and his partner's doing. His partner's now named Pingu, and they've happily updated us. They recently let me know that there is a new chick who has hatched, so that's 2 babies for Flippy and Pingu, and they're doing really well, and they anticipate more eggs this season. As fundraisers, our time is pushed in all directions. We live by the motto, done is better than perfect. And it's really easy to slip into that cycle of getting our ass done and on time without thinking about the broader donor experience. We don't all have cute penguins to spruik for adoption, but we all have a cause that people care about. And we can all do what the Oamaru Penguin Colony has done for my family and engage on a personal level with our new supporters, remembering who they are and providing them with personalised ongoing responses. By doing this with what Oamaru has done for my family, keeping us up to date with our penguin and keeping that communication personalised and with a real made-for-purpose feel, they will have our support for many years to come, and I cannot wait to go back and visit them when international travel is allowed again. And I encourage anyone to visit them too. You just won't regret it. Thanks, everyone.
So
That's awesome. Penguins. How can you compete with penguins? I've got keys.
I was very glad I was on mute because I did squeal when I saw the penguins the first time round. So that's, all right. Well, thank you. That is